Hey, this is Jesse Grover with the Living in Vancouver YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over a market report on January compared to the previous year and see what the numbers are and really kind of what's going on to tell you just and give you an update about what's going on in the real estate market here in Southwest Washington. So let's dive into it and get into those numbers. So looking at this year's and this last month of January, months of inventory, we're at 2.5 months of inventory sitting right now, which is actually really good and really healthy. So inventory of months, we're going to be talking about that in the future right now. And that is calculated by dividing the active real estate listings at the end of the month by the number of closed sales that month. So it's the number of active listings divided by the number of closed sales. Compared to the last 2 years, you can see we were 0.8 and 0.6 in 2022, meaning we were really hard pressed, and we have been. If you see over in 2021, we never hit 1 month of inventory, and we started to right in May and June of 2022. And if anybody knows what happened in May of 2022, that's when rates started to go up. So now you can see that we have actually hit our highest number of inventory that we have seen in the last 2 years, could be upwards of 3 years. We have the most inventory right now. More inventory means it could be a better time to buy a house right now here in Clark County. Now, there is high interest rates and stuff that you're competing with, but there's no buyer, there's no competitive buyers out there that you have to fight against with every single house, and that's what was happening for the last 2 years. So you can see down here that our new listings have actually went down 23%, and pending sales have went down 27%. Closed sales have went down 40%. So what's happening is there's just less activity going on right now. There's less population of buyers, there's less new listings coming out, and with that there's just less pending sales. So the number overall of what is happening is just smaller than what's happened in past years. So we can really see that with these graphs here. Active residential listings is higher than it was the last 2 years. And as you can see, more listings always come in May, June, July, and August. And this rolls us to the end of the year. Historically, our busiest times are always during the summer. So if we're starting at a point of 800 when we were around 400 the last couple years, you could really see coming into summer, if you're a buyer, you have more opportunities and you have more potential homes to look at. And in the future, you're going to have way more houses to choose from than you ever did in the last couple years. But the interesting thing is new listings. So we have less new listings than we have had in the previous years. And you can see down here, we have less pending sales. That just means we again have less buyers and less action going on in the market right now. But less new listings mean the number of listings to go look at is smaller. But what's really happening is the population of buyers is really small. So total average time on market, this is another one that I wanted to point out. In previous years, these numbers were skewed a little high. This is an average, and if anybody knows about averages, there's the mean, median, and mode, and you can kind of skew what you're looking at through those things. So that just saying average, I'm not quite sure exactly how they found this average, but in general, the average time on market is a lot higher, almost double what it's been the last 2 years. So it's just taking sellers longer to sell their house. They can't really sell it in a weekend like they used to 1.5 years ago. Now it takes more like 2, 3, 4 weeks to sell a house, and you just have to become a lot more marketable. You have to price your house right and accordingly to showcase it on the market, and when you do, those houses still sell. So another interesting thing is the average sold price has changed a little bit. So if you can see, we started off in January last couple of years right there, but we're actually, if you can see, we're in the negatives right now. So there are more house prices that are dropping slightly than we have seen in previous past years. So this is showing that the market has been super competitive and prices have actually raised, and that's because of bidding wars and the population of buyers and low inventory created people paying more for houses than what they did. But right now you can actually get houses cheaper than what they're listed at, and there's ways to do that, and I can have a video in the future describing the ways that I get my buyers houses cheaper than what they're listed at. So then, talking about price, right here we can see that we'll focus on Southwest Washington, but you can see that the average prices of houses, these areas down here in the green are pretty small, so those are up, those numbers are up here. But you can see that kind of the average price of a house in all of Clark County is right in that kind of 450, 475 to 500 range. It does kind of get a little more expensive when you're out in Brush Prairie, 525, Salmon Creek, 525, Ridgefield in the center, 572. And then it does get a little more expensive in this northeast Clark County, but there's a lot more land up there, so those prices are going to reflect that. Along with Camas and Washougal at 589. And then all these ones around the downtown, in town kind of areas, they're 425, 460s, 490s for Philida, so that's definitely going to be a little bit more. 440 for Central Vancouver, and the Heights area 445 as well. So you can see that depending on where you're at, prices do fluctuate in Clark County, but it's really going to be depending on what you're wanting and the options of the house or the options of the land and the property that you're going for. In any of these areas, I have definitely seen houses way above these price points, and I've also seen houses for sale below all of these price points in a lot of these areas. So it's just really changes. It all depends on what really you're looking for you and your family. And then this graph here, the residential sales by price range, you can definitely see the median price range that is the main activity going on is right in this 300,000 to 500,000, right in this red area that you're really seeing. And we have a couple outliers under 100,000, every year that happen, or 2 million plus. There's definitely a range of house prices all over Vancouver. But we're really looking in that 400,000 to 500,000 range is really where all the activity really happens. And you could see that on the map in the previous slide that it showcases what we're looking at. So overall, with these numbers, I just wanted to showcase and talk about what the MLS is telling us and what the numbers that they're showing us is doing in this market. And I see it firsthand. I definitely see that the population of buyers and the buying pool has went down, but it's just people are hesitant a little bit. I feel like the high interest rates have kind of scared some people. They had some sticker shock, but they're kind of getting used to it now again. And houses are the prices are kind of coming down a little bit. It's kind of cooled off. We have definitely peaked, but I do think that if it fits for you, this is still a great time to buy, because you have options and you can get more with the house, and you can get more things like a home warranty or closing costs covered, and you just have more options as a buyer than you ever have in the last 2 to 3 years. So I do think that could still be a good time to buy here in Vancouver and in Clark County in the year 2023. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Follow and like this channel, and I'm going to be producing videos like this weekly, and I'm going to be coming out with a report every single month about similar numbers like this, just to keep everybody up to date and educated on what's happening with the housing market. So please follow along, and I will see you in the next one.